bookkeeping. Let me share this, and I am going to tell you guys everything that you need to do to close out your year for your bookkeeping, for your taxes, for everything you need to do. So I'm just going to share this on the Wealth Dynamics page. Let's see here. Share, share, share. And we just finished 1099 season. How was it for you guys? I know I said don't ever say 1099s to me again, but you know, it's been a couple days, so I'm okay now. Good. So Jerry or Nana are going to share it for me. Let me get this weird light out of the way. Here we go. Make sure it gets shared onto their group, and then we're going to talk about this. So guys, we have finished out January 2022, which means that, you know, 2021 is over. 2021 bookkeeping should be done. I want to talk about that. So where should you be at right now? So first of all, I'm assuming you did file your 1099s on time. So with that assumption, we're assuming that your bookkeeping all got done. So you know all your numbers for 2021, right? That's the first thing that you have to make sure you have, is all your numbers done for 2021. So you need to know your profit. You need to know your income. You need to know your expenses. You need to know your profit. If you guys hear that barking in the background, it's my super cute puppy, but he's being very loud. So hopefully you can't hear it on your end. Okay, so Romeo is throwing a fit. He's even like 2 rooms away, and there's probably like a cat that walked by my back door or something, and he's really throwing a fit. So I don't know. Hopefully he'll shut up soon. Okay, so the first thing you need is you need your numbers. If you don't have that already, run, don't walk, get your bookkeeping numbers for 2021. You need that. So what do I mean by your numbers? So you need a profit and loss. So you need to know how much money you made every month, or at least for the year. You need to know how much money you spent and on what. You know, so you need to know how much you spent on business expenses. If you haven't done your 1099s yet, you should still do them, but you need to know what you spent on each contractor, subcontractor, service provider, so they get a 1099. If you haven't done them and you're late, it's fine, still do them. It's better to have them done than not do them at all. So that's one thing you need. I'm not going to talk more about 1099s right now because I've been talking about it for weeks. The next thing that you need to prepare for is payroll. So if you are an S Corp, and I know we talked about this earlier, you know, when you should be an S Corp versus an LLC, but I feel like some people were still asking me a lot of questions about this. So let's say you were an LLC and we made you an S Corp for 2021. That means that we have to run a payroll for 2021. What does that mean? You already paid yourself money, right? As a business owner, you take money out of your business, you put it into your personal account. That's called a distribution or a draw. Now we're going to convert some of that money based on what your profit was into payroll. So that's easy enough. But what does that mean? Because this is where it gets a little hairy, right? Because all of a sudden I tell you, okay, so your payroll for 2021 was $50,000. I need $15,000 today to pay your payroll taxes. And people are like, what do you mean? I thought this was going to save me money on taxes. Yes, it is. It is going to save you money on taxes, but we're catching up all of your payroll taxes for the year. And that's why I'm asking you for money right now for your payroll taxes. So basically, we're going to determine based on your profit what your payroll should be. So let's say your profit was $100,000. We're going to make your payroll about $50,000. We're saying profit, not that it's still sitting in your bank account, because we know that it's probably not sitting in your bank account anymore. You spent it. It's very unlikely that you just have money sitting around, unless you have a sacred account, in which case you should have money in it. So this isn't so much what's left. Like, I've had conversations with business owners and they're like, what do you mean it's profit? There's no money in my bank account. Yes, I understand that there's no money in your bank account, but it's profit, meaning that it wasn't a business expense, right? So what's left in your income after all the business expenses is what the profit is. And that probably went to the business owner and they spent it on living expenses. So that's what we're going to take, that number of what the profit is, and make some of it payroll. About 50%, maybe less than 50%. You know, you can do a compensation study. You can talk to your CPA. We get a number, and that amount is going to be payroll. So again, what does that mean? That means that if we're doing a payroll, and if you haven't done it and you didn't make the January 31st deadline, don't get too stressed out. We can... Hey, Justin, thanks for joining us. Don't get too stressed out if you didn't get your payroll deadline for January 31st, and Romeo is still barking. One of these days I'm going to do a webinar with Romeo in it so you guys can see just how cute he is instead of how annoying his high-pitched bark is. Okay, so let's go back to this payroll. So your profit was, let's say, $100,000. We're going to say $50,000. We're going to convert it to payroll. As soon as that conversion happens, I need money from you to pay your payroll taxes. It's going to be like $15,000. You know, it's going to be a chunk of money. It's probably 30% of what your payroll is. And think about that. As an employee, when you get paid, you probably get about 25% of your paycheck that goes to taxes. If you get a $1,000 paycheck, you're only ending up with somewhere between $700 and $800. That's right. Yeah, Romeo, thank you, Sean. I think Romeo has to say that a cat walked by or something not very useful. Or, Mommy, why did you put me in my crate? And Justin, you are welcome. And I think even your payroll is set up now, so it got all done on time. But if you didn't make the deadline for January 31st for your payroll, it's fine. We can still handle it. It's going to be, I'm sure he does hate taxes. Thanks, Nano. If you didn't make the deadline, we can still handle it. It's not going to be a terrible, terrible thing. It's going to be an amendment. It takes slightly longer, so it's going to cost you a little bit more money. But even if you go, yeah, I'm an S Corp, I want to, let's do my payroll. Keep in mind that means that I'm going to ask you for a bunch of money for your taxes. Not for me. I don't get to keep it. It goes to the government. So just keep that in mind, that when I say, great, we'll file an amendment for your payroll. We'll have your payroll for 2021 be $50,000, $100,000, whatever it is. Then you got to pay the taxes if you weren't doing it throughout the year. Now that we filed, now that we get you set up on payroll, throughout the year, for this year, we're going to do it every month so your cash flow is kept and so it's not crazy at the end of the year. The only time it gets crazy at the end of the year is if you didn't do a payroll throughout the year. Let's say we did a late election for your S Corp. So, wow, Romeo is still going. Okay, let's all give him lots of admiration for how long he can bark so loud for. Seaburn, yes, thank you for joining us. Feel free to write your questions. I take questions. Okay, so the only time it's crazy at the end of the year is if we did a late filing election for your S Corp, or you go, oh, I didn't know I had to do a payroll for 2021, and we go, yeah, you're an S Corp, you have to do a payroll, that's the law. And you go, okay, let's do it. So that means we're going to convert, and I feel like I'm just saying the same thing over and over again, but people ask me this over and over again. We're converting part of the money that was profit, that is no longer in your bank account, we know it's not still there, to payroll, and then you have to pay payroll taxes on it. So like I said, if it's $50,000 that we're saying is payroll, it's going to be like $15,000 that has to go to the IRS right away. The IRS, Social Security, Medicare, the state if you're in a sucky state that taxes you, stuff like that. So keep that in mind. We can still do it. We can do a payroll amendment for 2021 up until you file your taxes. So if you haven't done it yet, we need to do it. Again, if you haven't filed your 1099s yet, we still need to do it. Don't think that just because the deadline is over, that means you don't have to do it. We still have to do it. You're going to be late, but better late than never, because if you don't do it at all, you can be liable for those contractors' self-employment taxes, which you don't want. If you're late, you could get a late fee, but honestly, I haven't seen the IRS give anyone a late fee for a late 1099 in a long time. Any year they might. They keep threatening to hire 70,000 more IRS agents or something insane, but it's really better to file them than, late than not file them at all. So Illinois is a sucky state that loves to tax. Yeah, for sure. California, exactly. California is one of the biggest ones that likes to tax. If you live in California, you should move somewhere with less tax. Even though California is beautiful, go there to vacation. Move somewhere with less tax if you own a business. Okay, good. So that's the main thing. Now, in order to file your 1099s, in order to do a payroll for the year before, you need to know your numbers. You have to have bookkeeping. Who's racist? Nano? Okay, I'm going to let you guys do your inside jokes. We're not racist of California. California is beautiful to vacation in. Okay, so in order to have payroll, in order to do 1099s, you have to have your numbers for the year before, the year that ended. If you don't have them yet, you have a couple of choices. You can either do what you normally do, which is like sit down for 3 days, pull your hair out, crunch numbers, have a headache, and try to figure out and try to make sure you got all your deductions to have numbers for your CPA. Or you can go to a bookkeeper, hashtag I'm a bookkeeper, and have us do your books for 2021 so that it's not crazy. Because I know how this goes, guys. I've had lots of people tell me, oh, well, normally I just sit down. It takes me about 3 days. I drink a lot of coffee. Sometimes there's alcohol involved. And at the end, I don't have any hair left, but I have some kind of numbers I give my CPA. Let's not do that. That sounds awful. That sounds stressful. I know I've said this before, but my mission statement for my company is perfect and complete financial records for your peace of mind. So what am I trying to give you? Peace of mind and good financial records. So both of those things. Option 1, cry for 3 days and hope for the best. Option 2, hire Maya and go shopping. Yeah. Hire Maya and put money aside for payroll taxes that she's going to ask you for as soon as she's done. But guys, we're 2 weeks out right now. So if you come to me today, we're going to get your bookkeeping started in 2 weeks, because you should have come to me 3 weeks ago. But at least that's better. If you come now, you're still going to make it before tax time. If you come on August 15th and want your bookkeeping done by September 1st for your CPA, it's probably not going to happen, guys. Jerry says, never do your own bookkeeping when alcohol is involved. I agree. I'm just telling you stories I've heard, man. I have heard stories. I actually talked to a business owner today who has a pretty big company, a small business, but still probably in a 1 million revenue range, has had her company for 7 years and doesn't have any bookkeeping. And she told me how stressed out she always is because she never knows if she has enough money to hire a new employee. She never knows if she's actually making money or not. And I was like, listen, lady, let me give you peace of mind. Let's just do your bookkeeping. So we're going to start her bookkeeping in a couple of weeks. We're going to catch up for 2021. Luckily, she does have payroll, so that's not an issue. But she doesn't actually know if she's making money or losing money. So that is a shitty place to be. I apologize for swearing, but it is just a shitty place to be in. So I told her, I'm going to help you. So, okay, good. So now what? So you do your bookkeeping or you hire a professional because, as my dad said, you don't pull your own teeth out, you hire a dentist. So I could compare bookkeeping to teeth pulling. Sometimes it's as painful for certain people. It's not painful for me because, I do it all day long. But some people feel like bookkeeping is the same as getting your teeth pulled. So don't do it yourself. unless you like it and it's easy and you've been keeping it up all year. Jerry says, if you're late, is it best to sign up for catch up from the prior year and also handle in the current year at the same time so it doesn't happen again? Am I making, James says, I get that. Am I making or losing? Totally. Absolutely, 100%. So Jerry, yes. Year. So, and then sign up for either monthly or quarterly, depending on your revenue range and how often you need data. I sign people up for either quarterly, where they get their books every 3 months if they're just using it for taxes at the end of the year, or we do it monthly if they're looking at their books every month or in their higher revenue range, or weekly if they're looking at their books weekly and doing a financial plan. Maya is your financial dentist. Yes. Hashtag. I don't really like the sound of it, but it's catchy. You heard it here first, folks, on the bottom line. Okay, so I think I've pretty much explained everything you need. So now what happens, right? So you've got your books done. You've got your payroll done. You've got your 1099s done. Now what? Now what do? Now you need a CPA, or you already have a CPA. You know, Jerry and I are partnering with TaxHive. There's also local CPAs that I work with if TaxHive isn't the right fit for you, you know, so you can always ask me for a recommendation. I'll probably send you to TaxHive first because they do great work and they're really easy to communicate with. And what are they going to ask you for? They're going to ask you for all the things that we just did. They're going to ask you for your profit and loss statement. What is that? It's what it sounds like. On the top, it has your income. And then it's got, you know, cost of doing business. And then it's got your business expenses. And then it's got your profit on the bottom, right? Very simple. But they need to see that. And if you don't have that, you know, option B is spend 3 days with some caffeine, hopefully no alcohol, and trying to figure out numbers. Here's what happens, guys, when you do that, other than the headache and the 3 days of lost production. You're going to miss business expenses. You're going to miss business expenses. And then you're not getting as much, then you're going to end up paying more taxes than you should, which is also, as Jerry has said before, is tax fraud. You don't want to pay the government more than you owe. You only want to pay them exactly what you owe. So if you are trying to figure it out at the end of the year, you're not going to remember. You're not going to remember what that was. You know, it's even hard, even if we do your bookkeeping only at the end of the year. But like, okay, what was that $100 you pulled out for cash? Seaburn. What was that $100 from last January? Are you going to remember? You are not going to remember. So it's much better to do it every month, every week, at least quarterly. Make notes, keep receipts, all that stuff, which we're going to help you and train you on. But minimally, we're going to know, we're going to have every single expense. We're going to look at each one and make sure that you get as many deductions as you possibly can so you're paying the least amount of tax possible. Okay, Justin says, even if you were late or delinquent, it is better to communicate with the IRS because running from them out of fear won't work very well. Ask Willie Nelson. Okay, agreed. You have to pay your taxes. They're going to find you one way or the other. But let's do it right, and let's only pay them what you owe them and not more. A good CPA firm, Jerry says, a good CPA firm is going to ask you to have those things anyways, and if you don't have them, they're usually going to ask you to go get them. Yeah, absolutely. So that's why I'm saying that's step 4. Step 1 is get your bookkeeping done. Step 2 is get your 1099s done. Step 3 is get your payroll done and documented. Step 4 is go send everything to the CPA. Now, if you are trying to file your taxes for the March 15 deadline for your business or the April 15 deadline for personal, you basically need to have your stuff to your CPA right now. Why? Because they might need more than a minute to do your taxes. So if you give it to them on March 13th or April 14th, you're probably just going to get an extension filed and it's going to be late and you're not going to get your refund or whatever on time. So don't wait till the last second. Even with us right now, we have a 2-week waiting period just to get started on your bookkeeping. So if you want it for March, like we got to start now. Keep that in mind. Okay. Jerry says, if I'm spending 3 days trying to figure all of that out, that's 3 days I'm not marketing, selling, and growing my business. Exactly. That's what I was trying to say. It's a loss of production. Also, it's not even fun. Guys, I've heard the stories. It's like I locked myself in a closet with a box of receipts for 3 days. That just does not sound like fun. That sounds like a headache. That sounds like stress. We don't want that. So those are the things that you have to have by the end of the year for your CPA, and then you can do your taxes. So if you're missing any of the prior steps, you're either going to do the 3 days with a box of receipts in the closet, or you're going to come to a bookkeeper, a financial dentist, as we like to say. We don't really like that saying, but we're saying it, to get your books caught up, get them ready for taxes, and do it one time. Go hire a bookkeeper to get caught up. If you didn't get 2021, I don't judge. I know it's painful, but do it one time. Pay for it to get caught up. Pay for it to get done every month or every quarter or every week, and never stress out about it again. I need some like Zen music in the background right now. Like imagine this, guys. Never stress out about it again, because it's going to get done, and it's going to get done right. So let's keep that in mind. Do we have any questions? What does Jerry say? Don't be an asshole, someone who asks for unreasonable things at the last minute. Yeah, because Jerry gave a really good example a few weeks ago, a few webinars ago. If you walk into a really good restaurant day of and ask to get seated right away, you're probably going to get told that there's a 2-hour wait if you can even get in that day. So, you know, most CPAs and a lot of bookkeepers are busy, so they're not always going to be able to stop what they're doing and take what you need right away to get it done last second so you can get your taxes done on time. You got to be, considerate. You got to go earlier than when you need it so you get it done on time. And Seaburn, yes, the memories. I hope that Gustavo keeps you in line. Okay. Nano says, worse yet, don't even exchange back after 1,000 questions. Oh, like they ask 1,000 questions and then they never get back to you, or they never pay you. Yeah, that's annoying. I charge for consultations for that reason. I do free webinars, but I charge for consultations. Okay. Seaburn says, if all my clients love me, can I count their payment as a gift from loved ones and not claim it? No. No, you can't. And you already know this. You also can't count your shooting range trip with your employees. That is not security. I don't care who told you could count it that way. It doesn't count. Sorry, Seaburn. That's a personal distribution payment. I apologize, but the IRS does not feel that taking your employees to a shooting range is security. Let's have a moment of silence for Seaburn's not being able to deduct shooting range as security. Okay, we're done with that. All right, good. Justin says, I ask thousands of questions. You know what? But that's okay because you're paying me. So you can ask as many questions as you want as long as you're paying. No one cares. Also, if you are asking me questions in a webinar, those are free questions, so you should ask those questions. You tried to file that as an expense, Gustavo wouldn't allow it. Yeah, I'm telling you, Seaburn, I told you, it's not going to work. I know you can get creative, but that's a money laundering level of creative, and we don't do that. So good luck. Okay, good. So I think I'm wrapping up. Okay, Maya also reserves the right to charge extra for emotional counseling pertaining to bookkeeping. So handle it before it's a traumatic experience. You know, I have to tell you, Jerry, I have some stories. I used to do a lot more financial management, financial planning with people, budgeting, things like that. One of the reasons I stopped doing so many is that people would cry. And I would be like, I'm just telling you your numbers. And now I have to take you for a walk. And this is not what So that's one of the reasons I don't do that anymore, because it stresses me out that it becomes a counseling session and I'm not qualified. I'm a bookkeeper. Okay, I hired Gustavo. Seaburn says, just so everyone knows, he has like an in-house full-time bookkeeper for his very large construction firm. So he says, I hired Gustavo, his full-time bookkeeper, to keep me out of jail. I agree. Bookkeepers keep you out of jail. Jerry posted a post recently, a whole article about what to do if you get an audit. And now that the IRS is saying they're going to hire 70,000 more IRS agents, you definitely want to know what to do if you get an audit. But the number one thing to do is have your bookkeeping right so that if they ever audited you, there was nothing wrong with it. It's perfect bookkeeping. It's perfect records. Nano asks, Maya, are you doing a blueprint to bookkeeping? Yes, I am. We even had a name for it last week, and I cannot remember. I'm going to put it together. I need to just have a few minutes to do that, but I've been like back-to-back meetings. Okay. So Nano says so people can walk each step and know where they are and what's next for them. Yeah, I actually did a consultation with Sean today, Sean King, and we talked about that. And it's very interesting because I actually know the blueprint, and I tell each person, like, hey, you got to do this, and you got to do this, and you got to do this. So I just need to take a moment to write it down and then maybe do a webinar and go over it. But I kind of went over it last week. It's like, an LLC, a bank account, make money. First step is make money. Okay. Jerry says, I'm so bad at people crying. I'm not so good at it myself. I mean, now it's COVID, so I just go, I'm sorry, I can't touch you because we have to social distance. But back then, I would just say, I'm so sorry that you have to make more money. I mean, here's the thing. When you do a budget with someone, right, like the way I do a budget or a financial plan, a lot of people do budgets and they're just looking at, well, what did I spend? Did I spend more than what I wanted to or less? Blah, blah, blah. Who cares? Let's use budgeting tools as a way to control our money. So I sit down with someone and I say, and I'm not selling this, guys, because people cry and I don't like it. I will charge you like $500 an hour because I don't like these. Okay. So I go, okay, what's all the things that you want to pay for? You want to buy a new house. You want a fancy vacation in Aruba. You want to donate 10% of your money to your church. All of these things. Let's put that all in there. Good. Now you're telling me you make $10,000 a month. That's great. But your company makes $10,000 a month? Okay. But all these things you just told me, you need $25,000 a month. And that's why people cry. But we're not using it as a tool to make people cry. That's not the point. The point is to use it as a tool to make you know you have to make more money. Because people always spend all the money they make. So we want you to get in the habit of knowing you have to make more money. That's all it is. It's like income demand. You're not going to make more money than you think you have to make. If you feel comfortable, you're not going to make more money. How do I grow my business and make more money? I keep the pressure on, man. I'm always thinking about how do I get bigger? How do I make more money? There's so many things I need to do. I need to donate to my church. I need to buy a Tesla. Like, it's on my list of things. There's so many things. Okay, I need to get more money. I need to hire more people. I need to do this. So we have to create the income demand. That's the purpose of it, of creating a financial plan, to create income demand, right? I talk about it in some other webinars. But no, I will not sit down with you and do it unless you pay me $500 to $1,000 an hour, because even over Zoom, people cry and I don't like it. So make more money. All right, Seaburn says, but seriously, life is much less stressful with a bookkeeper to keep correct records and have someone to help answer questions or what can be logged as expenses. Absolutely, exactly. And when you get so big that you have to have a full-time in-house person, I'm not going to get offended. I'm going to be happy for you. I can't do full-time because I have lots of clients. We probably can do 25 to 30 hours a week for one client if we needed to. But, once it gets to like 40 hours, hire an in-house person. Justin says, I need to make more money. Absolutely. We all need to make more money. Seriously, sit down, do this for yourself. Don't ask me to help you. Sit down, write a list of all the things that you want to pay for, and keep that inspired. Keep that as inspiration to make more money. And then use your profit and loss statement to figure out how much money you are actually making. Because you also have what you personally want to pay for and what your company wants to pay for. Like, let's say you want to pay for more marketing, you want to pay for more employees. Like, okay, you have to budget that. And thank you, Jerry, and that is why Maya is the bomb. Most bookkeepers are going to tell you to spend less and manage what you have. Maya tells you to have good record. bookkeeping and go earn more income. Yes, 100%. The first step on the blueprint, like let's say you started a brand new company, what's the first step? Make money. The IRS is not going to tax you if there's no money. You don't need an LLC if there's no money. You don't need a bank account if there's no money. So the first step is decide a product and go sell it. I mean, it doesn't have to be a physical product. It can be a service, go be marketing, go be financial, investment, whatever, a real estate investor, whatever you want it to be, but go make money. Then, yes, we've got the blueprint. I totally went off, Nano, this is your fault. I went off of my plan of telling you guys what we need to do to close out 2021. But yeah, the blueprint, then it's like once you're making money, yes, open an LLC, get a bank account, get bookkeeping, get a Mint Builder account so you get that free hurdler to start out with, all that. Like those are all things, and we're going to put this all in writing, and once I have it all pretty, I will make a video on it, but those are the basic things you want to start with. But what do you need right now? You already have a business, you're making money, you've got to have bookkeeping. You've got to know what your numbers were for 2021. You need your payroll. If you're an S Corp, you have to have payroll. If you're an owner of an S Corp, you have to be on payroll. You have to. And if we're amending 2021 payroll because you didn't actually pay yourself payroll and we're calling part of it payroll, realize that at the end of that conversation, you're going to owe the money to the IRS right now. Okay, and here's what I wanted to explain to you guys, how that still saves you money. Because I've been asked this a few times, like, wait, but I thought you said this was going to save you money. And then I have to end this webinar because I've been talking for 32 minutes, and I'm supposed to talk for only 30 minutes. Okay, so here's how it saves you money. As a self-employed individual, if you only have an LLC or a sole proprietorship and you're not an S Corp or you're not elected to be taxed as an S Corp, you are paying Social Security, Medicare, and IRS income tax on all of your profit. That sucks. If you elect to be taxed as an S Corp, you're only paying those taxes, the extra Social Security, Medicare, self-employment taxes, which aren't self-employment taxes anymore, now they're payroll taxes. You are only paying it on your payroll amount. So let's say your profit was $100,000 and you file your taxes as a single member LLC, not as an S Corp. You are now paying self-employment tax, which is about 15% on $100,000, and then you're also paying income tax. But if you do a payroll, you're paying that 15%, Social Security, Medicare, state, whatever it is, that 15% only on the payroll amount. And on the rest of it, that's your profit, you are only paying income tax. So that's why you save so much money by being an S Corp once you're making enough money to make it worth your money, right? But again, I want to reiterate, realize if we're doing an amendment and you're asking me to file payroll for 2021, you're going to need to pay taxes right away with that payroll because it's already late. There's going to start being penalties and late fees, but it's still going to save you money. It's going to save you a lot of money. It saves you about 15% exactly, Jerry, in extra taxes on every dollar you keep. So that's why it feels like, but why do I have to pay it right now? Because it's for 2021 payroll, but that means that your taxable income is going to be less all that you just paid out. Keep that in mind. I'm going to send this video to everybody who asks me why they have to pay payroll taxes right now. I'm actually not, because it's 34 minutes long, so it's too long of a video. I'm going to have to make a 2-minute video about it. Jerry says, or pay 15% extra on only 20 to 40% roughly of what you keep. Yeah, but now you're doing too much math and it sounds confusing. You get to keep an extra 15% in taxes on every dollar you keep. Exactly. You're not paying 15% self-employment or payroll taxes on the money that doesn't go through payroll. But you have to pay payroll, so that has to be a reasonable salary, around 50% of what you make. If your profit, I have a company whose profit was like 1.7 million. We're not running a payroll of $1 million. His CPA said, let's run a payroll of 250,000. Fine. That's still $1.45 million that he's not paying self-employment taxes on. So let's keep that in mind. Even though the payroll is huge, I'd love to have a payroll of 250,000. Maybe I will someday. It's still if I'm doing my math right, 4-5 million that he is not going to have that 15% tax on. So to close out, what you need to have by the end of the year, or not by the end of the year, right now to get ready for taxes. And if you need bookkeeping, you have to come to me right now to get it done on time, because there is, like, you know, we do have clients we're currently doing catch-up projects on, so we got to get those done so we have time to do yours. So in closing, 1, your bookkeeping needs to be done. 2, your 1099s need to be done. 3, your payroll or any payroll amendment needs to be done. And then 4, here we go, 4, then you can go send all that to the CPA. Your CPA will love you. Everything will be easy. It's not going to be stressful, and your taxes are going to be easy, and you're going to pay way less taxes than you would without those things in place. So that's what I wanted to say to you guys. Thank you all for watching. If you have any questions, you can still put them in the comments. You can send me a message on Facebook. You can email me, maya@solvencynow.com. You can go to my website, solvencynow.com. You can send me a smoke signal. Now that I'm out of 1099 season, I'll probably even see it. But really, you can message me on Facebook, you can message me on LinkedIn, you can message me on Instagram. Apparently, I'm opening a TikTok account soon, so my marketing team says that's the next step, so you can message me anywhere. But please reach out. My purpose is to help people, so I want to help you. So reach out. I'm putting my email address in here. If I remember my email address, maya@solvencynow.com. My website, solvencynow.com. Am I spelling it right? Yes. Reach out. I can help you. Let's get you peace of mind. And thank you all. I will see you next week on the Bottom Line Live, where we will talk about the next exciting bookkeeping subject. Bye.